What is up, folks? Welcome back to the Supplement Copywriting channel. And in today's video, I'm going to show you how I took a e-com supplement company's welcome sequence from just making them $300 a month all the way up to well over $10,000 a month on autopilot. They haven't really had to test or tweak much. It just prints, well over $10,000 for them on a monthly basis now after I went through and rewrote their emails and optimized them. And so in this video, I'm going to show you the common mistakes that this company and a lot of other companies that have written this exact same kind of email sequence for makes on a regular basis. We're going to break down the 7 simple emails that I use for every single company. It's pretty much rinse and repeat. If you take these emails and use them for your e-com supplement company, I guarantee that they will work. And then number 3, I'm going to be sharing with you something I've never really shared out in the public before, which is what I do in email number 7 that is way different than anybody else does to get frictionless sales and to really sell people without having to overtly be hypey or really drive them there. I'm going to show you something that I do in email number 6 and number 7 that drives a ton of sales without the people even realizing it that are going through your emails. So let's go ahead and dive into the very first part of this all, which is breaking down the common mistakes that a lot of e-com supplement companies make with their emails. This company included. These are predominantly the things that I fixed for them that made these emails go supersonic. So the very first thing is most companies have their emails coming from just the company instead of one specific person like the CEO or founder that the reader can bond with. People really want a hero. They want somebody who has gone through the adversity, who has gone through the challenges, who has done the work, and is now coming back to give them that answer that they've been looking for. And you can't do that if it's just coming from a company. So you want your emails to come from the CEO, the founder, somebody in the company, because it's way easier to bond with a single individual as opposed to just a brand. Unless, of course, you're like Nike or Adidas or something along those lines. But for most e-com supplement companies that aren't the Nike and Adidas of their industry, it's way better to have the emails come from an individual, one person. It's way easier to bond with one person than it is an amalgamous brand that doesn't really have a face to it. So number 1, you want to make sure the emails are coming from some person that is in the team. Second thing is emails they're not sending enough emails in their welcome sequence. Generally, they're going to be 3 to 4. They're going to be really generic. They might even be just the cut and paste like Shopify ones, or even Klaviyo or something along those lines. And those aren't going to cut it. That's not enough emails to be able to take people kind of through a journey and really engineer the emotional and logical argument for why they should go through and buy your supplements. So I like to make all of my welcome emails roughly 7 to 10. More often than not, I just keep it to 7, makes it a little bit easier. If the company has a ton of content they want to have plugged in there, then we can have some extra emails for that. But realistically, 7 emails is really the sweet spot I found for a lot of companies, not 3 or 4 like a ton of people send. There's also zero explanation of why their products are different and better. More often than not, your very first email in a welcome sequence is just, here, buy our shit, here's a 15% off discount code. I'm not saying to never use discount codes. What I'm saying is you need to be able to explain to people very clearly and succinctly in this very first 7 emails why your products are different and better than the alternatives. Because immediately what it does, and we've spoken about this a few times in other videos that I put out, is you need to escape the rat race. You need to not be seen as a commodity. And a commodity is something that is viewed by people as the exact same as the thing that's next to it. So at that point, when you're a commodity, people strictly buy based on price. And you don't want to ever have people that are just buying your products because they're the cheapest. You want to have people buying your products because they feel like they are the most unique and the best that they can get, which allows you to charge a premium price and also create a lot of that brand loyalty that we want with anybody who comes through and buys from us. The next thing is none of their emails and their welcome sequences generally have any storytelling. People don't realize this, but stories are really how people see themselves inside of somebody else's journey and accept a sales argument a lot easier. So if we're reading a story, it's a lot easier for us to kind of accept an answer. We learn from stories, and it's something that's hardwired into us as humans. A lot of the times we'll remember very specific points, not because of the point, but because that point was wrapped up in a story. So you need to have some element of storytelling in your welcome sequence to be able to build that emotional and logical bond with the person and build that rapport. Now, those stories, and you guys will see them when I start breaking down the emails, can be in the form of the founder's story and why they developed the product. It can be in the form of testimonials and telling it from the perspective of clients and customers who've gotten the results that we know that these people want. But you need to have storytelling in your email sequence in the very first 7 emails to be able to really create that bond with the person. The second to last thing is that most email sequences don't blend education and entertainment. People will continually come back and open up your emails if they are entertaining and they get value from them. If you only have one of them and it's all entertainment, that will wear out. If you only have value and there's no entertainment factor, that will wear out. When you can blend education and entertainment together, it gets high clicks, it gets good engagement, and it makes a ton of sales. So blending those two together is vitally important, and it's something that is missing from lots and lots of e-com supplement companies' welcome emails. And the last thing is an odd one, but it's one that I felt like needed to go in here. People space out their emails too far apart. People have a very short attention span these days, and I know that some folks would argue with me on that, but it's really easy to build a bond and to build rapport with somebody if they're getting an email from you, every day or every 2 days, as opposed to every 3 to 4 days, because you're just top of mind. You're in the top of their inbox, And the way that I like to write these emails is they kind of build off of each other. So to make that effective and to make it so that we're hitting on logic and emotion and the person is connecting those dots in their brain in a way that makes them want to buy your product, you can't have your emails in the welcome sequence spaced out 3 or 4 days, because people will plainly forget what happened in the last email. So those are the biggest mistakes that you want to avoid. Now let's get into how to write a 7 email welcome sequence that explodes your sales. Now, the very first thing is you want to, in email number 1, thank them and deliver whatever kind of lead magnet it is. So if you're not using a lead magnet, a discount, anything along those lines, that's okay. But what I'm going to be writing from the perspective of here is delivering them a lead magnet. So the very first thing that you want to do is you want to thank them for choosing to grab your lead magnet or to hop on your list, give them a quick reminder of what it is that you're going to help them accomplish with that lead magnet. Then in this email, you're going to let the reader know what to expect in terms of the kind of information you're going to send them and how frequently you'll be in communication with them. This just kind of sets the stage so that they expect, hey, this brand or this person is going to be stopping by a few times per week. They're going to be delivering me different content on, let's say fat loss and muscle building and general health. Then in their mind, they know that those emails are going to be sent. So then they have an expectation of how often you're going to be stopping by and what kind of content you're going to be delivering to them. Then these are a few things that are a bit cheeky, but I like to toss them in there, is you just want to show them that you value their trust and you want to add as much value as possible to them and help them accomplish their goals. Then you're going to ask them to reply to this email so you know what their goals are and are able to help them. Or you can also position this as asking them to reply and you have a special bonus gift that you're going to send along to them. So either way, whether you are just, asking them what their goals are and how you can help them, or telling them that you have a specific bonus that you want to give them for replying, it accomplishes the same thing. And all we're really trying to do to get them to reply is it builds a better bond with that person, and it automatically adds you to their contact list, which means that you won't end up in spam, which is a huge problem that a lot of people are dealing with these days. So simply getting them to reply in the very first email of your welcome sequences, make sure that the rest of your emails are going to be delivered to their inbox. Next, we have email number 2, and this is just going to be the company or owner story. So you really want to make the person who is emailing them the hero who went through the adversity and created this product or service to be able to help them do the same. It shows that they have struggled like them, and it also shows some vulnerability and honesty. And I'm not talking about the kind of fake bullshit vulnerability. People like, vulnerable post, woke up this day feeling fat, when they're like really lean. I'm talking about speaking about their story and how they went through the struggle and being honest about the fact that they're not perfect. Just like the people that are reading the emails aren't perfect. It just makes them a more relatable character, and it creates a bond with the reader because it shows that they've been in their shoes or they've helped somebody that was in their shoes, and that makes them a lot more relatable hero in the story that we're really putting together for them in this welcome sequence. So email number 3 is the big discovery. Now, this is really an element of the founder's story from email number 2. But in email number 2, what we're doing is we're giving kind of a quick version of their overall story and we are not going as deep into the big discovery. We're hitting on it a little bit, but in this email, what we're doing is we're really highlighting that part of the story, and we're showing how they discovered a problem and then they developed a unique mechanism to solve that problem. So let's say somebody like a founder was really deficient in a specific vitamin or mineral, but then they realized they're already taking that vitamin or mineral in really high amounts. So they figured out the issue isn't the deficiency in the mineral or the vitamin, it's actually the absorption. So then they read a bunch of studies, spoke with a bunch of experts, and ended up finding somebody who could develop a version of this vitamin or mineral where the molecules are so small that they get automatically absorbed at like 100% better rate. And so they ended up taking it, they felt better, and then they realized they needed to share this discovery with the world. That's kind of the big discovery. So we're just thinking about it in terms of we're highlighting a big part of the story that matters to the person, because what it does is it shows them how this product is different and better. It also does a really good job of disqualifying other alternatives that they might be considering and explaining why they wouldn't work from the lens of a story. So when I spoke about earlier why storytelling is so important in your welcome emails, this is one of the perfect examples of why this matters so much and why without it, so many companies' email sequences just completely flop and don't make them any money. So like I said, you just think of this like a story about how you discovered and developed your own unique mechanism. You really want to make it how you broke the mold and went against the grain to achieve the outcomes that they want. And now you're bringing that to them. And how you going against the grain and making this big discovery is really how you found and developed this product that solves their problem. So that's one of the big things there is you want to frame it as, you being a rebel and you making this discovery is how you solve the product that helped you. And now it solves their problem because you're bringing it to the greater masses. And what this really does is it positions you as a hero and leader to them, and it builds authority in their eyes. So they start viewing you as a hero and they view you as somebody with massive authority just because you told this story. So again, storytelling is immensely important in your welcome sequences. Email number 4 is explaining the big mistake that they don't know that they're making. So we want to explain the big mistake that they don't know that they're making that's preventing them from achieving their goals and their outcomes. So really the purpose of this email is, yes, we're explaining a big mistake that they're making, but we are breaking their false beliefs about why they're not making progress, and we're giving them a new belief to replace that false belief with, that obviously is going to be connected with the overall product that you're trying to sell them. And like I was saying, this new belief should point directly to your unique mechanism as the answer. So, for somebody who's in the weight loss space, it could be, it's not about calories and macros, it's about your metabolism. And this specific product is the one thing that will increase your metabolism by 200% or something along those lines. We all know that's not true, but at the end of the day, you get the point here. It's like this specific product increases your metabolism, so it makes macros and calories irrelevant or something along those lines. Again, this positions you as an authority and creates a bond for helping them think in a new way. If you can shift somebody's belief around their problem and what the solution is to that problem, that is the biggest part of kind of your sales argument. So what you need to have people do in a welcome sequence is you need to have them accept your sales argument around what the problem is and why all the other solutions don't work, and why your product and solution is different and better and solves that problem that nobody else has been able to do. And that's really what we're trying to do in this email sequence. And this is one of the most important emails that does that, because the whole purpose of it is to break their old false beliefs and then give them a new belief that's slotted into their mind that points directly to your product as that solution that they need. So, and then what I like to do here is I like to use a soft pitch for whatever it is you want to sell them in like the last third of the email. It doesn't have to be over the top. It doesn't have to be super aggressive, but this is a really good time to pitch them, because what you've done is you've just replaced an old belief they have with a new belief, and that primes them to want to be able to go ahead and buy. So by using a soft pitch in the last third of this email, it does a really good job because you've just shifted their belief. You've gotten them to think about your product as the solution that they need to achieve the goals that they want. So no better place to go ahead and put your product than in the last third of this email. Email number 5 and 6 are going to be the exact same. Obviously, they're not going to be the same email, but they're going to follow the same template. And that is just a testimonial or a success story from somebody who's used the product. So the big thing here is people want to see people like them that you've helped achieve success. At the end of the day, one of the best things about testimonials is that people allow themselves, they kind of let their guard down and they allow themselves to be in the shoes of the person that you're talking about. And more often than not, if you're nailing this and you know who your ideal customer is, then you're writing it from the perspective of somebody who's really close to your ideal customer that's reading the email. So they allow themselves to kind of step into those shoes if you write the testimonial and success story the right way. So here's the main things you want to cover in a testimonial or a success story that you have, whether it's video, whether it's written out, anything along those lines. These are kind of the overall elements that I like to have woven into that testimonial and success story in email number 5 and email number 6. So you want to hit on what was their life like before getting this product? What were they struggling with? What were the pain points? What were the things that they weren't able to do? Really, you're just showing the before state of what they were struggling with and how their life wasn't what they wanted it to be. Then you want to talk about what they were struggling with that stopped them from achieving success. Was it they thought that they were lazy, or they thought that they just had a slow metabolism, or all these different elements. You want to hit on what they were essentially dealing with beforehand, the pain points. Then you want to talk about what were they struggling with that stopped them from achieving success. This is a great place to go ahead and plug in the different alternatives you're going to invalidate and essentially show them why they don't work. Then you're going to get into how your product helped them overcome these struggles and obstacles. And then you're going to show them what their life was like after this product and achieving their goals. Then you can weave in a soft pitch here, really easy to do. Email number 6 is literally the exact same thing, but just for a different person. So these always do really well. These are typically a little bit longer, but if you write them the correct way, it grabs and captures people's attention. And you can have these back to back and people will read both of them. And one of them is going to resonate with people, assuming you understand who your ideal customer is and you're getting the right kind of people onto your email list. So as you can see, it follows the exact same structure. There's nothing different about it, but that is what email 5 and 6 are. And then at the end of email 6, what I didn't write in here and I wanted to kind of save it for the video is at the end of email number 6, you have a PS that tells people to go ahead and email you back with any questions that they have that are unanswered for them about this product or about their struggles. Then in email number 7, it's just going to be a basic FAQ email. So by this point, you've built a good relationship and bond with the reader, you've built authority, and you've also built connection with them. In email number 6, we asked them to go ahead and reply back with any questions that they had about the product or about their struggles or anything along those lines. So here, we let them know that we've gotten a lot of questions after the last email and tried to respond to as many of them as we possibly could. Then what you want to do is list the common questions in the email body copy, and then let them know, hey, I don't have the time to literally respond to every single one of these. So what I did was I went ahead and created an FAQ page for you guys that can answer all of these questions and help you understand these problems a little bit better. So then you just flat out, you link. What you do is you go ahead and you hit on the fact that you answered as many as you could, but you can't answer all of them. Then you let them know that you created an FAQ with all these questions that are answered. Then you link to the FAQ. And essentially what we're doing is we're overcoming any last minute objections they have about the product and giving them a reason to visit the website. And the reality is anybody who clicks through has unanswered questions. They have objections. So if you can handle those objections in that FAQ on the website, they are already on the site that they need to buy the product. And chances are good if you do a solid job of overcoming those objections and flipping them on their head and showing them why this product is the answer to that, or why your products in general are the answer to that. They're already on the website. They'll go ahead and pop over to that, and they'll have a good reason for wanting to go ahead and buy that product. And the thing is, it's kind of done a little bit subconsciously. Everybody always has some unanswered questions or some objections in their brain. And so when you give them a friction, kind of like pressure-free way to get those questions answered on your website, they're already where they need to be. They just need to pop over to the product page and link in your FAQ to the products that you're talking about, obviously, and make it easy because they want to buy. They just have one question that's holding them back. So if you get them on the website and you make it easy for them to go ahead and buy once you've answered that, it really is one of the best performing emails that I've seen with my ecomm supplement clients in these sequences. We get really high click-through rates on email number 7, and it usually results in quite a few sales. So that is the overall breakdown, guys. This doesn't have to be super overly complex. It doesn't have to be, 25 emails or anything crazy. If you just follow this basic structure and you include everything that I spoke about in each one of these 7 emails, I guarantee that not only will your open rates be increased, your click-through rates will be increased, and the most important metric of all this is you're going to make significantly more sales from an email sequence like this, as opposed to the kind of very bland, boring ones that most companies send out. So go ahead, give this a try. Let me know how you like it, and shoot me a message and let me know if you tried this email sequence type and how it worked for you. So I hope this helps, and I'll be back next week with another video. Adios.